was sitting there and I was just.
All right, 6 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start with minutes.
I have the June 3rd and June 11th minutes that I emailed.
Motion to accept the June 3rd and June 11th minutes.
I'll second. All opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries. It's accepted. Clerk treasurer report?
Have the allowance docket and the APB registered vouchers, the vouchers. Get a motion for that, please.
Motion to accept the allowance docket and the vouchers.
Okay, I have, the bank rec for May that was emailed out. Get a motion for that, please.
Make motion to accept the bank rec for May.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then, my State Board of Accounts training is in August. I attached that to the email. It's more than my spending limit, so I need to ask for approval to, it's essentially like it's 3 nights and then 3 days of training.
Reading for Robin in August.
I second that.
Favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And then the only other thing I have, I wanted to ask about the digital signs that we have. I'd like to get those signed. Any suggestions, thoughts? I think we'll have to have an electrician put outlets on the outside of the building. Then I think I have to hire someone to hang them. RD seems to think that with the construction of the building that we should have a professional do it. But
Well, this was thought that we discussed about before, could we just assume the RD is gonna be able to do it? Am I correct on that?
yeah,
Have we done any quotes or anything like that?
I haven't. I wanted to talk to you about it and see if anyone had any ideas.
Is that what give me your?
There's an electrician in Kansas City. You guys think it's used?
every year at county.
That's what I was trying to think.
I guess.
Yeah, Tom would be good. He's a handyman. I mean,
Tom Marshall.
Tom Marshall.
Okay.
He did. I assume he still does.
If you could think of, I mean, and we don't know obviously what the cost is gonna be to know whether we should get 3 quotes or whatever, so I would start with Tom, see kind of what the quote comes in at, and maybe if it gets higher, than $1,000 or whatever, I have no idea. But if it gets higher than like say 1,000, then maybe we look at other quotes, and if not, then just how to do it.
And there's 2 signs, Robin?
Yes.
Where are we putting those again?
Well, that was my next question. We had talked about putting one on the front and one on the side. Is that still a good idea or?
I mean, one in the front definitely. Yes.
What happened to, we couldn't do one across the street?
I don't know.
Post office?
Well, not, that was that, I guess we couldn't because by the sidewalk, we wouldn't be able to see it, because it's not a big one, that's right.
Yeah,
It's
power
small.
and all that. Right? So I have to look my notes. I'm not sure what the original, because it's been forever, like what the
Right.
original plan was.
I thought the original plan was to do one on the side and one on the front.
Right, it was.
Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I
Okay.
would stick with that.
With
All
what?
right, I'll get quotes for that and then I'll report back to you.
I would also see if they can do 2 separate, one for the front, and one for the side. break into 2 quotes if you have to.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Got any business? Not doing any business? Open business? Hey, Chad, you got anything for us for open business? The lots or, I mean,
Just, Dave and I have talked, just as far as about the tax certificate need, but working through that process. So that-
everything's still rolling.
Yep.
As that should.
Yeah, it's going as it should. It's just like that whole process slower than we'd all like it to be. So, yeah.
And when I do my report, if the board wants me to, I can go, what I've learned about the process of turning a tax certificate into a tax deed. But I'm still waiting to confirm some of it, so we also wait.
Thank you.
No problem.
Brings us to the, Pizza King lease. Everybody got that email to them? Everybody got a chance to look at it? Okay.
Yes.
This was brought up because of the vacant lot that we own next to the Pizza King. There was some concern maybe as far as liability. So one way for us to kind of umbrella ourselves from the liability, kind of have a shield, is to lease it to Pizza King for the parking, which are already using it as a parking lot anyway. So that's kind of what we have here. So I guess I'll just need a motion. If everybody's seen it, everybody agrees, dollar, everybody understands kind of.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. So I guess I just need a motion to pass so we can get this thing signed.
Make a motion that we like the Pizza King lease to $1 a month, is it? A month, and sell Brownsville sign top on it. And then we could sell them properly.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance next.
Right. We have an ordinance that we need to pass. It is the flood damage prevention ordinance. This is 27 pages long, so I am going to ask for a motion that I read this by. I need a motion to number the ordinance 2025-6 so that it can be placed on the first reading by title only.
Also,
I need a motion to read the ordinance in entirely by title only, flood damage prevention ordinance. It's title. So,
Give a motion to by title only.
also,
and I need a motion to accept the first reading by title only.
By title only.
Is that good?
Carries.
Okay, and I'm gonna announce that ordinance 2025-6 has been duly passed and adopted. So on this, it's, like I said, it's 27 pages long. And it's, when I read this and went through this, it's mainly for, Robin, can you help me explain this a little bit there? So that we can have this prevention or flood prevention in case we would have something in our town would become totally flooded out. So we can have this, so FEMA would be able to help us. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's what I wanted to be sure. And then later on, we can ask questions if we need. What forms?
Is it?
Apartment, we don't have no apartments here,
No?
and then,
Yeah.
I guess,
Anybody on council report?
I got something here. I have a couple things. We had our first farmer's market. It went okay. We had a couple people, but we had a rain out. We have our next one this coming Saturday. So far, I haven't had, but I think one person sign up on that, so we'll see how that goes. We did have, somebody, the Historical Society did the Ball Diamond over the 4th of July weekend. And she had some ideas, but I did think there's a couple things we needed down on the bottom. And if
Did the
possible.
Historical Society do their kickball thing?
No.
Trying to do
No.
that?
No.
Never came about that.
No, all they did was
Gonna plan to do
concessions.
that maybe next year.
Okay.
So, but down there is, I'd like to see if we could get a couple screen doors to, when you go in the side doors right here, to get some air in there, airflow in there. And I looked them up and they're at Lowe's and they were like $65 each. Or Menards was even cheaper. They were $49.
Are you talking about the concession stand?
Yes, one on each, one on, or there's two doors inside. And so if you got the main doors you open, that's just, there's no screen door there to maybe keep a screen open to get some air flow in.
So
Instead of
you
just-
either have a completely open doorway.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking flies and everything else,
Yeah.
but do we use,
Well, if we're gonna start using it and stuff, I would
when
think,
you're doing the farmer's market, are you opening the concession stand?
not now, no, I'm not. But if people are going to eventually start using it, I'm just saying, if we're going to, right. If we're gonna do that, that is something that was brought up and I seen it and it was, that doesn't come with the hardware. So the hardware is $9.99 and that's all the kit, yeah. I'm requesting on Washington Street in front of my house. There's more kids that have moved into the community. And there's smaller kids and there's only one children at play sign there. So I want to know if there's any way we can put more children at play signs in that area, if we have any. I said that because I'm going to that. Maybe I'll get with Artie or
Yeah, see
whoever.
if we have it, because I don't know if we have any,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
if we have to order some. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because I know the Beals, they have kids now in that area. And then the guy who just bought Pam's old house, they have a new one. And then people at Brad Blaylock's house, they have a bunch of little kids down that area. So that road's just piled full now of children and we have one sign. I had on here that I am gonna look at possibly, I am gonna do it, but I gotta get it worked on. I want to try to maybe people can come up and help me with, get some ideas going and have a big fall fest. So, just, you know, how we, so if we could think of some ideas of doing a fall fest. And I thought we could do it down, again. So, I knew we did pumpkin carving, or not, painting last year.
Mhm.
And that was, we had 5, I think. It was fun. The kids enjoyed it. So we had the painting contest and then we had the library came down and we had all kinds of good stuff down there. So I want to do that again, but I want to make it a little bigger and then have an activity to do. So I'm looking back. I think. I don't think I got anything else.
Okay.
I do. I had another question, maybe Dave would be able to help me on this. On our ordinance, and I read it and I wasn't for sure. The sense of the world changes daily. Now these electrical bikes,
This is a different ordinance, you know.
no, yeah, different. So electric bikes, would that fall under like, what kind of, do we need a certain ordinance for that? Or would that fall under our,
It seems like I read, problem, I feel. I said, didn't we talk about an ordinance that had to do with non-motorized vehicles? I remember doing some research on this, but it's been weeks ago now. So the question is whether a motorized bike is a motorized vehicle. Under state law, it is. I remember doing that. I don't know why I did that research. For some reason I did that. But would you need an ordinance? I didn't have time to check that out. You might not really need an ordinance. You want to regulate them. You don't want to regulate them. You might have some problems with the state law. It treats them like there are statutes that deal with the conduct and the licensing of motor vehicles on public road. And there was a lot of debate over what is and isn't a motorized vehicle. Electric bikes have become and the decision, I can't remember if it was a court decision now, or the legislature adopted it eventually, clarified it eventually, but it became resolved in favor of them being regulated as. They were, at that time, electric bikes were kind of like pedaling, but it was electrically assisted. And that's why it was ambiguous, you know, it wasn't fully motorized, but it was motorized enough for the state. But what, are you thinking you might need to regulate them further?
I don't know, I'm just saying, I see a lot of them.
Yeah, and you think there should be some standards, perhaps, maybe?
I think, I mean, I see a lot of them and I see a lot of them not stopping at stop signs, thinking maybe it's a regular bicycle, but I mean, you still have to stop at a stop sign on a regular bike.
Bicycles have to.
But
obey.
I mean, I seen them, dogs just,
Well, how about this? If the council. wants
yeah,
to-
and I throw my pen, just like that,
There you go.
but
You
yeah.
got some. If
But,
the
yeah.
council wants me to, I can research.
I just didn't know, and I was reading it myself, and I couldn't get, like you said, it could get confusing on
It's
that.
ambiguous. It's in that gray area.
Yeah,
Well, if the council thinks that's something they might want to have an ordinance, give me a chance to put together something on what the state law says. Maybe find a sample ordinance too. I'm sure other towns dealt with it. And then you can think about whether you want to do anything with it or not. If you want. If not,
is it statement? You say it is statement?
this is my vague recollection. For some reason, someone must have asked me to look at this. I just ran across it, maybe, who knows? My recollection is that there is state regulation of electrically assisted bikes, and that they're classed as motorized vehicles. My further recollection is that that doesn't have to do with the obeying of traffic laws, because non-motorized bikes have to do that.
Right,
But it has to do with whether they have to meet certain standards, you know, just like a car.
Could we table this for Mark and just see what his opinion is? I would
Yeah.
like to have his opinion.
yeah.
Yeah, if more work is needed, if you think more, just let me know.
I'll give it.
I'm gonna have to have Robin let me know. Somebody to get it.
Now I can get some ordinances from other towns.
Yeah, you could do that. Great.
Thank you, Rob.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I'm.
I know, I saw some
I must have.
on the Fourth of July here,
It's
like 2 or 3, but on a regular basis, I only see one person in town has. So I don't know if they're just not, like, if I'm not seeing them, or if they were just here a lot for the holiday
This end
weekend.
of town, on that end of town, there's quite a few down that way.
Okay,
I see quite a few on that way
okay.
and, and I see kid, I mean, I'm just saying, for a kid to have them, I mean, it's okay. I mean, if it's okay, it's not a problem, but I'm just saying, I just wanna make sure that rules change every day.
Mhm.
World change. I just wanna be on top of it. Be safe.
Yeah. Any report?
Not much, but, you've already adopted the lease that I. And I guess nobody had any questions. Let me ask Robin, did you make any changes in what I sent you, or is what's in
No,
my-
please.
the lease? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so the lease is as I drafted it, and what I was trying to do there was come up with something that had a nice, strong section on liability and insurance and that sort of thing. The only thing I'll add to that is it would be still be a good idea if somebody from the town would check with your insurance carrier and see how they would treat it. Most likely, this insurance would be considered primary. In other words, the insurance obtained by Pizza King would be primary if there was a claim, and that your insurance would be secondary. So it's just the way you want it. Because you don't have claims made on insurance if they can be avoided. And the rest of it is a fairly standard boilerplate commercial lease adopted for apartment. If any questions do arise, let me know. The only other major project I worked on was, as Chad said, turning the certificate. You now have a tax certificate you now have for 203 North Main. Into an actual tax deed. And there's a process. It involves notice. It involves eventually filing a petition in court. Which I will eventually prepare. And it involves getting an order from the court for I believe it's the treasurer to issue the tax deed. The only thing I'll add to that, and we're in the process of preparing a notice now, which I will do in the next week or so. The deadlines are pretty generous. That doesn't need to go out to the middle of September, and then there's a redemption period. It's not going to be redeemed because this guy has disappeared. He's not going to get his notice either, but you still have to send it out. And then there will be the petition, and the sooner you file the petition, you can't file the petition until the redemption period is over. That's about the middle of October. Once you file the petition, as soon as the court acts, you've got your deed, you're done. But you have to make sure you comply with those deadlines. You gotta start all over, you get a new certificate. You don't want. The other thing I'll say about that is, myself out of that memory. Oh. Oh, give me this. Oh. You may want to spring for a title search because the deed you get at the end of this process is sort of like a quick claim deed. You get no warrant, no guarantees of title. You could be buying a pig in a poke. I mean, not buying it, but you would wind up with a pig in a poke. And so the only thing that the certificate gives you is the certification that the property is eligible for tax sale. That the taxes are, all this. You don't even need Okay, so anyway, so that's the only other thing. You may want to do a title. That's all I got.
David,
Yes.
for clarification, I may have misheard this, but I think you said that it was the 203 North Main Street
Yeah,
property. It's actually the other, it's one of the four. It's the,
Is it?
yeah, 203 North Main's the gas station.
The gas
correct?
station.
Yeah, so
We
it's
did
one,
talk about
it's
that.
the one in the series of the
This-
block 4. And I can't
It's
remember this.
106 or-
Yes.
Yeah, well, it would be. Yeah, that's the guy in Connecticut. You're right.
So that just
Forget that about brownfields. There's nothing you can do with it. You just don't want to tear it down until you've got good titles. And that's what this process is designed. So tactical. That out, Chad. I can never keep those.
Oh, I know, it's easy to get those two.
I need to visit them so I have an image. I'm looking images.
Alright. Something else, David?
That's it. Thank you.
Alright. Now for the citizens. Anybody have anything? Speak. Okay.
My name is Dorothy Sears. I live at 212 South Main Street. Number one, I can't understand. Several months ago, I asked you to speak up so we could hear. I asked people to come to town more meeting. Why come? You can't hear what they're saying. To my way of thinking, I've attended many professional businesses over my lifetime. You should be sitting in the middle of the table. They should be sitting on each side of you, where we can hear you. You're sitting over here. Your voice does not project this way. It projects this way. So I feel like you need to be sitting in the center. The second thing I want to address is the fact that I've lived in this town for 58 years. I've never seen it look as nasty as it does right now. We've got grass growing between the sidewalk and curbs. In fact, over across the street, I walked past them, we're up to here. People coming into this town are not going to be impressed with that. The other streets they take is Walnut. Okay, look at that piece of property down there, kind of across from the church. That Kinley property. It is a mess. We were going to do something about it. It's never had a thing done to it. Now, how are you going to do anything with this town if we don't work together to get it done? My lawn is mowed every week, every week. I mow it every week, no matter what. If I can do that, the rest of the people here in this town can do the same thing. Like I said, I've lived here for 58 years. I was always proud of this town, but I am not proud of it anymore. It looks horrible. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. Anybody else?
You guys, can you all tell me with confidence that you read that 27-page flood ordinance you just passed? Did you all read it and understand it, or did you just pass it and not think about the impact on this community?
So I guess what did you see in it that,
I never saw it. I Googled it to try and see what the general state of Indiana thing was.
Okay.
And it didn't look good for making. So you guys are always trying to improve this community and make it better. I'm sorry if I'm getting a little fired up here, but you're discouraging people from building in here now because they got to follow some floodplain guideline. Is that what I'm reading in there? Or did you just pass that willy-nilly and not pass it out and kind of explain it a little bit besides just reading it in title?
you got passed out? We read it.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So, I mean, I guess just to try and explain a little bit more, I mean, I'm not sure what you saw or what you said you Googled stuff, so I'm not sure why.
I don't know exactly what you guys passed.
Okay.
I tried to Google
We'll
general.
get you a copy of it, you'd be more than happy to take a look at it. I mean, I guess I'm not.
It doesn't matter now, it's already passed. You guys did what you did, you know?
Was it for the FEMA thing, Robert?
Yeah.
You have to have a plan in place.
Well, I don't have a lot to say about it. I did read it, probably not as closely as these guys did. But it's essentially a form that is required by I think the state's involved too, by FEMA. So of course, it's a federal agency. You have to do, it's kind of like saying, we will provide these services in an emergency if you will do these things to mitigate the possibility of things being even worse. You can't stop natural disasters, but you know, it's a little like an earthquake code in California, if you want to think of it that way. Yeah, we'll do these things for you if the building falls down, but you've got to have built it to certain standards. So whenever you get into that, in my experience anyway, is it gets complicated. We got a bunch of experts looking at it, and they put one requirement on top of another. And eventually, you're right, eventually, there's probably a point at which is a matter of policy. These guys, you'd say, wait a minute, can we find some workaround for this? Because this is going to kill any development. Now, I'm not prepared to say that's true of this. That's not my job. I just read it and try to figure out what it means and maybe suggest legal changes. But these guys have read it and they're saying, we believe the accessibility of FEMA services and funds in the event of a disaster are worth the inconvenience or the burden of following these requirements. It's just in general what I would say about this kind of thing. Now, maybe I shouldn't go this far, but if there is a desire for further discussion and debate, obviously amendments can be entertained to it. Just because it's passed doesn't mean it's written in stone forever. On the other hand, somebody, probably it's going to be me, is going to have to check and see at what point, how much leeway you have. If you want the FEMA protection, there's a point beyond which you can't go. And I didn't draft this thing. That's wouldn't have been able to draft it from scratch. But I'm certainly going to take a look at, what leeway FEMA gives you. And it might not be as very much. Maybe it would be a little. So that's where we stand now. That's okay.
My name's Heather. I'm sorry, I have a heart condition. Is it okay if I sit while I speak?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I know that I live out in the county, but I know it impacts my neighbors. What are you saying would be the difficulties and red tape that would come with trying to put in new buildings? Are you rezoning areas and homes to flood zones? Because that impacts people trying to sell their houses or anything like that.
So this wasn't anything that had to do with rezoning or anything. This is a kind of a blanket, and just the easiest way for me to explain it is it's almost like a blanket policy for FEMA stating, if you want our help, you guys have got to have some sort of plan in place. This is the overall plan that's in place. So if something does happen, we have a disaster, then we can go to FEMA. Because if we didn't have anything, then it's just up to the town. Then there is no federal aid.
Are you aware that we have to pay back those federal aid loans
I,
to FEMA? So it's actually
Never
not
had
really
to deal
very
with it.
helpful. You have to pay them back. So like if they give you, like Joe had told me earlier, $700, you have to pay that back. So is that really helping the citizens in this town if they already have to pay back another loan?
I've never had to deal with it, so I don't know exactly about how that works.
And I know the only experience I've had with it is I don't know if you remember, but several years ago when we had the ice storm and we were without power for a number of days, and that was my only experience with FEMA, and that wasn't alone. They came in and they helped. It wasn't extensive help, but they did come in and provide some assistance in the community. So that's the only experience I have with it.
Is this gonna impact the future growth of town? Because gas stations are already closed down. So many businesses have closed down their signs in all of the windows. I mean,
The only time it comes into play is if there's a natural disaster.
Right.
Well, he had said that it will be minor inconveniences and burdens right now for help in the future. So what does that mean?
I didn't say minor because I'm not prepared to say they are minor. I mean, I don't know that I'm in a position as the town attorney to make a weighing of what's minor and what's not, what's too important. This is what FEMA demands. The only thing I'll say is that people may not realize this. There is a very limited amount of money available for extraordinary expenses in general. And would you agree with that, Rob?
Yes.
I mean, the town operates off of money that comes from the county, grants, many of them from the state, but many of those even are funded by the federal government. And if there's an extraordinary event, I mean, town gets washed away in a flood, not likely to happen, but then it's not like the town has money for that. Then you really do need some kind of outside help from a larger governmental entity, probably. I don't know whether that answers your question or not, but that's in general how these things work. And while, yeah, you don't have to comply with FEMA requirements, you can forego that. Then, you're kind of in the Wild West, in case, if nothing ever happens, which it may not. But, we're not in the Texas Hill Country, which I happen to know a little bit about. And so it's not, as likely, but strange things happen.
I just know that me and some of my neighbors were completely flooded out in that. And we were concerned about like if that has to rezone anything because town doesn't really have much going for it. We're in the middle of nowhere. And then if my property is also rezoned to a flood zone, I'll never be able to sell it in the future if I wanted to. Not that I want to, but I'd like to have the option available. And I'm sure some of my neighbors would as well. But like you like to have that option available. Things happen. Maybe a family member or something, you need to go and move. Whatever.
This doesn't
things
have
happen.
anything to do with
Okay.
zoning. If circumstances changed and the council wanted to consider zoning, there would be a big series of meetings on it, and the plan commission would get involved, and there'd be public hearings on it. So it's not going to someone's not going to just write something on a piece of paper. It would be a big process.
Would you guys like a copy of that?
This was,
We can get that for you.
Deidre, could I tell you about FEMA? I know about FEMA. My son lived in Louisiana. They had hurricane. There's people down there. This was 4 years ago. There's people that are still waiting for FEMA to help them out. Their houses aren't done. And it's a mess. It's a mess. You can't depend on it. You can't depend.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I am Nick McCormick. I live at 605 South Main. I've got a lot of stuff going on in front of my house right now. Had my yard dug up once because they had to disconnect the gas main to tear the house down across the street. I was never informed. That is my property, and I would like to be respected by the town and know when something's going to happen in my front yard. There's people on this board that's got my phone number. It's not that hard to reach me. I'll give it to you if you'd like. Another thing is, there's one day last week. Golf carts in this town. They're to be driven on roads, right? Okay,
We're gonna have a motorized vehicle, right?
that's my front yard. And that is not a legal easement. So the way I figure, I've had a no trespassing sign there since March 6th.
Did you make a report?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you talked to Mark about
I personally reached out to Mark and he never responded.
it. Okay.
I know who it is. But, I mean, I'm not, are you gonna be upset if I go over to your house and drive through it with a golf cart?
It wouldn't.
Exactly.
But if you did,
Not only that-
I would make it, I get what you're saying, but as far as, there's the process to let Mark know what's going on. Mark would be able to contact,
So, am I-
especially if you know who it is.
But am I supposed, I'm at work. I've got obligations to take care of at work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could have called 911 when I got home. I don't think it's an emergency, but I'm just letting everybody know that not only did he drive through my front yard, he drove down the driveway as well. And like I said, there's been a no trespassing sign up right in front of my driveway since March 6th. And there is a stipulation at the bottom of it that says beyond the easement, just right at 20 feet, 19 feet, 20 feet, there's a $5,000 per person per day charge if there's use on my property. So, like I said, I would like to be notified. If there's gonna be anything done on my property.
Did you get, the date that would happen?
Yeah.
Not the golf cart, when they came on your property,
Or no, when they
No.
dug up your
The
yard.
shut,
when they
when they
got-
did the shut off.
the shut off. That was right at the beginning, right, when they took the house down?
Yeah.
Back then.
Isn't that long ago? No.
Yeah, it seems like that's more than a shot. I don't think it's probably fully shut down here.
I can find it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can look into that and
Yeah.
see what the deal is there, because I wasn't aware of that.
No,
I don't think any of us were.
No, I mean, it'd just be easy just to reach out to Joe and just.
Yeah.
go.
cause I
As a
think
common
Joe
courtesy.
was,
I mean, just let us know when things are happening, we can let the neighbors know. Not a
It
big
was
deal.
on June 12th at 9:24 AM.
thank you.
Thank you.
So that's, like I said, I know there's a lot going on, but I feel as a citizen of this community that I do deserve a little bit of respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
they could,
you want my number so you can give to the 765-810-7484.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I go ahead.
Sorry,
Usually
usually we
have
have
the
the
podium.
podium out there, so sorry.
Kinda.
You're fine.
Brenda Pennell, live at 207 North Summit. I would just like to ask the board, what is your rules on golf carts? As far as who's allowed to drive them, who's allowed, should children have to be fastened in? Little ones, and
So I can say that as far as I know, there's no seatbelt laws or rules in the ordinance that we've adopted. You just have to be a licensed driver and you have to have insurance. Just,
license.
yes, ma'am.
And the golf cart has to be up to.
Yeah, you have to have
Inspected,
yeah.
yeah.
with a
It's
sticker.
registered.
turn signals, headlights, taillights, that kind of stuff.
So everyone that's actually driving in town does have a driver's license,
Should.
should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we just had a friend that was told he couldn't drive his golf cart anymore because he didn't have a license.
Okay.
But then I see someone driving without a license that I know of.
Mhm.
And he's parked his, he's not driving it, he's back on his bicycle. And I just feel like if it's good for one, it's good for the other. And I feel like, the law should apply to everybody.
So the law does apply to everybody, but here's the thing with it, right? It's one of those things, I'm not sure, Mark's got a law on his plate as the chief of police, right?
Right.
As he's stopping everybody he sees, on the golf cart, unless he's got a reason to stop them, I'm sure he's not. So anybody can drive around with, on a golf cart without a license until they get caught.
And they do have to have a permit from the town, correct?
Yeah.
And in order to get that permit, you have to have a
You have to
license.
show your license, you have to show your proof of insurance.
Okay.
And you have to pass an inspection where you show that you're the vehicle, that you're
Sure.
registering, it has the turn signals and the lights.
Okay. And also, we do have electric bicycles. I haven't been on the road with it yet, as far as in town, but I have seen the people on Washington. And, but that will not be us. I mean, we do with our side by side, with our bicycle, even a regular bicycle. I yield to stop signs. I mean, everything else, but sometimes, I think even if you got something in writing, people are still gonna do what they wanna do.
No, absolutely.
So unless the police are out there and they stop them and give them a warning or something, I feel that you're still gonna fight that.
And unless they're doing something wrong, the police aren't just gonna go up and pull people
Exactly.
over. So,
Yeah.
so for me to sit up here and say, oh, I guarantee you that everybody out there has a golf cart, has a driver's license and all that.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that. But I can guarantee you that if they get into an accident or something happens, whether it's their fault or not,
Yeah.
if they don't have a license and if they don't have insurance, then that's a lot bigger problem than if they had them. I mean,
Okay, so back to the golf cart though, if
I mean, are the police checking these people? I mean, or is,
If they have reason to, they will, yeah.
okay, so they have to, okay, so they're not gonna randomly just stop and say, show me
Show
your
me.
permit. Because, I mean, we got pulled over on a side by side because, you know, they wanted to check permit and all this.
Oh.
So I'm just wondering, are they more determined about the side by sides than they are the golf carts?
And I wish Mark was here to be able to answer that. Cause I don't want to speak for the police chief, cause I don't know exactly what his plan is and why he does what he does, and he would be able to answer that for you.
And I know that just as a police liaison, conversations that we've had, their approach is more education than it is penalty at this point, making sure that people are aware of the expectations and the guidelines. And
Sure.
so, you know, this is the ordinance, this is the expectation, this is what you need to abide by. They're not like trying to get people
Oh, yeah.
and give tickets or whatever. So at this point, the approach is just education, letting people know. But if it's something that continues, like if it's the same person that they've pulled over multiple times, then it moves into, you know, writing a ticket or whatever.
Yeah, just some of it
Yeah.
is, you know, if you do know someone that's not legally licensed driving one for certain reasons, it's a little scary to think that, because we have been riding in our car or truck and had someone turn right in front of us on a golf cart. They don't abide by the stop signs. And, you know, will that be on us if we were actually in an incident with them? So that's what's scary, because when we come in on 100, a lot of times they putt along or they're turning in front of us, no signals. I just feel that that's really unsafe. So, and I don't want to have an accident and our insurance
Sure.
because of that. So that's why I just really was worried that I think they do need to strongly urge the rules on these.
And we do have that, the golf cart ordinance is relatively new. We didn't have one. We just followed state code and we didn't really have a specific ordinance. But now we do, and we have copies of that available if you'd like one to see.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And share it with anyone.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.